is Julia Simmons. I am a member of St. Vincent and the Grenadines Red Cross. Preparing for Christmas Day the next day, a number of reports were coming over the radio of landslides and heavy rains causing overflow of river. That didn't seem, at the moment, it didn't seem destructive. Driving into Kingston, the sight was, I don't know if we can call it amazing, but surprising, shocking. That the heavy rains really brought all the debris down from the hillsides above Kingstown. There were refrigerators in the road, animal dead carcasses floating in the river. A number of business places had flooded. You just couldn't drive in Kingstown. You had to choose where you were driving or reverse and try another road. The next morning, the communication officer, our storeroom manager, administrative, volunteer, and welfare persons, including the president, we met at the office. We decided to pay a special visit to the Vermont Bookament area and see what had happened.
The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Red Cross Society will always remember the events of December 24th, 25th, 2013. This was a period when Vincentians typically prepare the hams, the curtains, and all that it takes to celebrate the Christmas holidays. But this was different. We were struck by flash floods and landslides, mainly in the north of the country, the northwest and northeast, caused by torrential rains. And the suffering on our people was devastating. Now, we at the Red Cross, we got information early from our groups in these areas, and we activated our disaster plan by 1:30 Christmas morning. Very early, we recognized that water was an important priority.
CWSA damaged water systems affected the entire country. About 80 to 90% of the population was affected. They had the same concern as everyone else in Vermont or the other affected places. They had no water and people needed water. They were not expecting it to happen. What I did fail to mention, about 12:30 on Christmas morning, I paid a visit to the National Emergency Management Office. I met the director, Mr. Howie Prince, and assistant director, Ms. Forbes, in the EOC room. I asked them, what's happening, what were the reports, and how can we assist, and the fact that I had to give to International Federation of the Red Cross a sitrep report.
We decided that given the fact that North Leeward was cut off from the rest of the country by road, we had to try to get water into North Leeward by boat.
The entire beach of Chateaubriand is filled with people, the wharf is filled with people. I refused to move until they fill the tank. Rendell refused to move until that tank was full because I said, you know, listen, I'm not going to Chateaubriand because these people in dire need of water. The entire wharf was filled with people, the beach was filled with people, the street was filled with people. They had drums, buckets, pots, everything that they could find to get water. At that time, they weren't even thinking about food. They just wanted water. There were babies, children. And our mandate in Red Cross is to serve the vulnerable persons. We took the basic necessities that persons would need, and then we realized, wait a minute, there would be babies, there would be people that would need pampers, diapers, elderly children. We just ran back in the supermarket, and the supermarket owner was so gracious, ran the supermarket. He said, you know what I can't get out of the storeroom now, take off the shelf.
We journeyed to Chateaubriand with an official of NEMO. We took food supplies, water, we took shovels, wheelbarrows and so, because although the CDRT in Chateaubriand had some of these implements, we know that it was insufficient to deal with the initial clearance in some areas.
I was preparing not that big amount of stuff for the Christmas because we kind of did slow down because the feelings that we have wasn't as so bright as it ought to be. So when the flood came, we just stand still and focus on what was happening to us. But after the flood came, we tried to adjust ourselves to every situation that was happening around us. And then when the flood was over, we just feel like to live with it because we cannot change things that is happening to us at the same time. But every help that we got from the Red Cross especially and the surrounding, we're much thankful for it.
Well, we are certainly very pleased to have you with us. This training, this NITS training as we call it, where we have volunteers come and we try to prepare them so that they will be better equipped to handle an emergency of that type or any emergency in the future. I think is very important, and it's happening at a time that is, in my view, very timely and critical because we are still in a period when this incident is fresh in our minds, and indeed we still have a lot of work to do out there, and we are continuing to do the work with the people, and the people are grateful that we could be there with them. But very importantly is that people have to do things for themselves also. And so that is why it is important that after the initial trauma, that you could be here with us to volunteer. And I gather it was merely a coincidence. You weren't targeted to come down here.
Help also came from the Barbados Red Cross, who in the true spirit of the Red Cross Red Crescent movement and the fundamental principle of unity, shared some preposition relief items with the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Red Cross. Support has also come from the French Red Cross Regional Intervention Platform for the Americas and the Caribbean, PIRAC, that mobilized a water purification unit.
They are in the field trying to find the best point for the catchment of the water, and after the assessment they have to decide the place for work with the unit.
My name is Shino Garo, works at the CWSA. Well, this workshop was very beneficial to me because I get to see a lot of different things that I really didn't know the Red Cross was about. So, and I could come and I could put it into thing next time a disaster happens. So, especially if we deal with the machine, the filtration and the other things. So, yeah.
My name is Hatan Macri from CWSA. I think this workshop will benefit St. Vincent a lot because I have gathered a lot of information, I've learned a lot. And in times of disaster, I think I can assist very much and do a lot to my country. Yeah, what started out in this workshop that helped me was the training today. The assembling of the unit, it was very good. I've learned to bring the water from the river and to distribute it to consumer and so on, to storage and treatment and then to consumer. Very good.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Rochelle Tanis. I'm from the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Red Cross Society, part of the Beckway branch. We're just here taking part in the Watson exercise, learning how to purify the waters in case of any natural disasters, and that would require persons getting safe drinking water within the country. I think this is a very good exercise because, as we know, we had the last flooding in December. We had to get a lot of water, drinking water for persons within the areas that were affected. And thus we had to rely heavily a lot on water supplies coming in from overseas and regional countries. This kind of exercise would be very beneficial to our country because in another such event, once we have a unit like this and we have persons that are trained in purifying the water, then instead of having to wait for shipment of water to be coming in, we can go ahead and seek suitable sources of water that we can try to purify for persons to get adequate drinking water, safe drinking water.
My name is Carla Taylor and I'm from the Canadian Red Cross, and I was here visiting for a couple days just to see what the St. Vincent and Grenadines Red Cross has been doing since the storm in December. And today has been really great to see the Red Cross here learn how to use the water sanitation equipment and be able to provide safe drinking water to the villages and communities here if anything happens again. And just on behalf of Canada and the donors that have provided some of the funds to be able to support this operation. I'm just really impressed with the Red Cross here, and we're happy that we could provide some support to help those in need.
This is Gerald Ledlow of the St. Vincent and Grenadines Red Cross. I'm one of the trained personnel in water and sanitation, and basically what we were doing here today was training in a unit that purifies and cleans water. It has a two-part filtration system, and we realized that we needed this system especially after the floods in December, because we realized that a lot of communities were affected. Even though the CWSA worked really fast, and we have to commend them on that, the system would have been needed within the first 2 days or the first week of the emergency. So we realized that it would be a good unit to have on hand. So if anything ever happens like this again, which we don't want, but if anything ever happens like this again, we would have it on hand to use.
Ms. Randall Allen, and I am the Communications Officer with the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Red Cross. And I just want to make some commendations on the operation so far. On December 24th, Christmas Eve, St. Vincent and the Grenadines was affected by a low-level trough system, which many of the communities sustained severe flooding. immediately the volunteers of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Red Cross activated its EOC from Christmas morning. And since that day, our volunteers have been working tirelessly, and we must commend them. Without our volunteers, none of this would have been possible, and we must say thank you to them. And even it's been 2 months since the flood, but we still have a tremendous support and backing from our volunteers, and we want to thank them sincerely. Also, we must thank the Ministry of Health, CWSA, the National Emergency Management Office, NEMO, for the support. This has been a tremendous challenge for all of us, and you know, without these partnerships, none of this would be possible. And I think the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is very grateful for all the help. We must thank also the donors, everyone who give, you know, whether financially and in kind. We want you to know that your donations have been received with thanks from the people in the communities. We will be continuing our response to this disaster, not in the sense of relief distribution, but in hygiene promotion, water and sanitation, and things of the kind. So now we're changing the scope of our operation now from the emergency phase into the response.